Legend of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse, released in 1994 for Sega Game Gear, tells the story of Mickey Mouse as a laundry boy who has been made a king by Pete to go on a quest to get the water of life that will end the kingdom's plight and make people happy. Little cutscenes move the story forward as you progress through the game, and well, it's simple fare for a simple game. Legend of Illusion is a straightforward platform game where you control Mickey Mouse through a dozen or so levels of platforming action bits. Your main weapon of offense is soap, which you toss at enemies to kill them, but sometimes you pick up these boxes and you toss them at enemies to kill them, and these boxes also serve as footholds, allowing you to reach higher platforms. Beyond that, it's fairly simple and to the point. You make your way past enemies and hazards to reach the end of the level, which sometimes includes a boss battle that you'll have to conquer, but more often than not, it's merely an exit to the next level. Unlike the prior Land of Illusion game, which featured some limited exploration and backtracking, Legend of Illusion is somewhat more traditional linear fare. You go from level to level, fighting bad guys and collecting pickups to aid you on your journey, and while occasionally you're awarded with boosts to your health meter, for the most part, you're on a given path to the end. As a result, Legend feels somewhat like a lesser game than Land of Illusion because it's not quite as, grandioso, for lack of a better term, as its predecessor. However, what Legend lacks in non-linearity, it more than makes up for with solid gameplay and levels. While you can no longer kill foes by bouncing off them with your bum, as was the case in Castle or Land, the soap is an adequate substitute, of which you have an unlimited supply. The levels are fairly straightforward, and might not be as overwhelmingly challenging at times, but sometimes there's a bit of a curveball tossed, such as this sudden shooter segment towards the end of the game, or some labyrinth that needs to be navigated. Fortunately, you have all the tools you'll need to overcome these scenarios, and whatever you get along the way as well. Control in Legend is adequate for the most part. You throw soap, you jump, you climb, you'll sometimes swim and hang on ropes. It works well enough for what it does. Much like Land of Illusion, Legend is aimed at a younger audience, and while the overall challenge, like I said, might be slightly higher than that of its predecessors, it's not something that demands the most attention outside of the boss battles, which are somewhat uncommon but creative affairs regardless. The visuals of Legend of Illusion are top-notch pixel artwork that has lots of colors, vibrant settings, and wonderfully crafted characters to go along with the whole fantasy vibe. And the simplistic cutscenes do a good enough job of progressing the overall plot onwards. Much like Land, verticality is an issue, as landing on a higher or lower platform will cause the camera to shift in an awkward fashion to the appropriate level, presumably due to this being a Master System game shunted onto a Game Gear cartridge with limited visibility. But once again, this is more of a nuisance than a deal breaker, and it's something you have to adjust to. In contrast to Land of Illusion and its somewhat average musical selection, Legend of Illusion has a somewhat better selection and wider variety of chiptunes, whether they be more upbeat or morose depending on the mood. Again, nothing sticks to mind long after the fact, but honestly, I do enjoy the tunes here in general. Sound effects are a thing that are in this game, not much else to say there. Overall, Legend of Illusion is a quality side-scrolling outie for Mickey Mouse on the Game Gear, though not quite as thrilling as the previous Illusion offering on the system, more due to Land's slightly larger scope compared to Legend's more straightforward fare. Still, this is a fine little game for the younger set that keeps the standard of quality Disney titles of the day.